Welcome to Eco News. My name is Grant McComb. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. One of them being food production and veganism, vegetarianism, and the majority omnivoreism, if that's a thing. Okay, so basically the difference between vegetarianism, veganism, and eating meat is the absence of animal products and meat. And there are a lot of different arguments for eating meat and for not eating meat and just going totally vegan, so no animal products, which in some cases includes honey, milk, cheese, all this kind of stuff. That's basically we'll go step by step in all of these lifestyles, for a better term to use, because they are lifestyles. They are lifestyle choices, and they do affect you in every aspect of your life, the decisions you make, that kind of thing. So let's start with veganism. Veganism is basically eating no animal products. It means only eating fruits and vegetables, only things that are grown, nothing with a face, two eyes, a mama, a daddy, and it's ever breathed a breath of life. So they'll only eat plants, fruits, and vegetables. And I was a vegan for a while, so I knew a lot of good vegan recipes, and it felt great. Now, a lot of proponents of veganism say it's fantastic for our environment because animals are not being harmed. A lot of animal rights activists say it's great because animals aren't being harmed, they're not being slaughtered, they're not being kept in unsuitable conditions in farms and factory farms, and all this kind of stuff. And then people who are against veganism, or not even against veganism, but just aren't proponents of veganism, say it's not good for you, you'll lose body mass, it's eventually going to hurt yourself. And if you've ever heard of Dr. Campbell, who was lead researcher at Cornell University, he is an advocate for vegan diets, and you can look him up. I got my certification in plant-based nutrition through Cornell University, and it was fantastic because it explained every aspect of veganism and just nutrition in general. You can get every every aspect of nutrition that you need through a plant-based diet that's varied. See, a lot of vegans fall into this routine, well, for lack of a better term, bad vegans fall into this routine of eating a lot of bread, eating a lot of starches, because it fills you up faster, right? I mean, you'll have to eat a lot more vegetables than you would if you ate meat with it, because meat will fill you up and starches will fill you up. So to get the essential nutrients that you need, you have to eat a varied diet. So you have to eat a variety of food, and you have to eat more of it to get the nutritions you need. Vegetarianism. So vegetarians eat fish, or no, that's pescatarian, excuse me, we're going to talk about that in a minute too. Vegetarians eat some animal products, so they'll eat honey, they'll eat cheese, they'll eat just products that aren't meat, that don't involve the killing of an animal to nourish themselves. And again, if you eat a varied diet of plant-based nutrition, then you can have all the nutrients you need, and you can definitely survive and even thrive on a diet like this. Even veganism you can thrive on. And a lot of vegetarians do this as well, or for lack of a better term again, bad vegetarians will eat a lot of cheese and a lot of bread and a lot of starch and kind of like move away from the vegetables. And the point of vegetarianism and veganism is eating vegetables, eating fruits and eating vegetables, eating a varied diet of fruits and vegetables. And what ends up happening is when you eat dairy, it contributes to the generation of phlegm within the body. And this could have a lot of adverse effects. I mean, I'm lactose intolerant myself, so I can't really eat meat, or drink milk or eat dairy products without having adverse effects on my body. Well, occasionally I will, now that I'm not a vegan anymore, but don't tell anybody. So vegetarianism and veganism basically are the two diets that don't involve any animal products or any animal dying for the nourishment of people. While veganism, it includes animal products like honey, milk, that kind of thing. Vegetarians do eat milk and honey and that kind of thing. And so omnivores eat anything and everything, including meat, including fish, fruits, vegetables. And on the one hand, a lot of people are proponents of this because they say humans were designed to eat meat. Humans have, well, let's just go at it like this. We'll take a look at two different angles. If you're religious and if you're not religious and are a proponent of evolution. If you believe in evolution, then humans have evolved over millions of years in order to eat a variety of things to survive. So they'll eat meat, we'll eat fruits, we'll eat vegetables, we'll eat just about anything we need to survive. And they say meat has an abundance of protein, and for a lot of people, protein is be all end all. A lot of people think protein is the highest nutrition on the totem pole, the most important nutrition you need. While this is, you do need proteins to survive, it's not actually true. You can actually consume too much protein, and this could have adverse effects on you. And I encourage you to do your own research and research nutrition. And again, I'm not a doctor, so please do not take this video as medical advice, or I could get in trouble. So eating a diet of meat and vegetables for a lot of people is good. A lot of people enjoy having their steaks bloody rare and their fish cooked nicely with lemon and garlic and all that kind of stuff. And I occasionally eat meat myself now that I'm not a vegetarian, not a vegan. I'm trying to get back into vegetarianism and then eventually back to being a vegan. Now, let's look at it from an environmental perspective. These diets all have an effect on the environment because of the way we produce food. Food is grown or it's raised as livestock before we slaughter it and eat it. So what is the impact of meat on our environment? So in order to raise, let's say, a head of beef, you need to think about the water to give the cattle. You need to think, or the cow in this case, or bull. You need to think about the food, the necessary grain and diet that you're gonna feed this animal, and then eventual slaughter costs and that kind of thing, and runoff of the blood, and general pollutants as the food passes through and comes out the other side, the methane production, and well, all these things affect the environment in one way or another. Now, there was a startling statistic that came out, a startling study that said, if everybody in the United States was vegetarian or vegan, we could produce enough food to feed the world. If everybody was a vegetarian, we could feed the world. That's interesting because it takes about 100 times more energy to produce meat than it does to produce fruits and vegetables. The only eventual constraint would be if our population got so large that we ran out of room to grow the food. Now, from an energy standpoint, from looking at just the amount of energy it costs to produce, different types of food versus, in this case, meat versus fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are far more efficient and far more effective to produce than meat. It takes so much more energy and so much more time to produce meat versus fruits and vegetables. So I encourage everybody I can to go on a vegetarian or vegan diet. Now, as I was doing my nutrition studies at Cornell University, I also discovered the health benefits of eating a minimal diet, of eating fruits and vegetables and minimal amounts of meat. Look up the China study. If you want to get more involved with nutrition, you can look at the China study. I encourage you to go do that and research Dr. Campbell. They did a study in China. Basically, the outcome of the study was that eating minimal amounts of meat during the week contributed to longer life. Because if you eat so much protein, it can create an acidic environment within the body, which causes cancers, which can, it doesn't necessarily cause cancer, but it creates an acidic, I'm getting excited, so I'm talking fast. So it creates an acidic environment within the body, and that creates the necessary environment for cancer to thrive within the body. And this is caused by an excess amount of protein, as well as consuming fats. That can cause artery blockage and all sorts of other health impacts from overconsumption of meat and protein. Well, I'm not saying that you can't get nutrition from meat. I'm saying in some cases meat is a fantastic way to get nutrients such as protein. Now, protein has I think it's called class A protein or grade A protein, where it's easily consumed by the body. Now, fruits and vegetables, vegetables have class B protein or grade B protein, which is harder to digest in the body or harder to break down within the body. And this means we need to take in more of it to get the same amount of protein as we would from meat. Now, this is, I guess, a price we'll have to pay if we want to create a better cycle to live in for our planet and humanity, because this becomes a human rights issue. At one point, it does become a human rights issue, because if we realize as a society that we can feed hungry people. We can feed people that would potentially starve if we just stop eating as much meat as we do. Because in America, we eat so much meat. It's amazing. It's horrible. It's horrifying. You can go get meat 3 meals a day. You could eat meat 3 meals a day. And that's perfectly acceptable in America because we live, for lack of a better term, and I don't want to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, we do live in a gluttonous society. We live in a society that consumes so much. We live in a society of consumers. There we go. That's a perfect terminology to use. We live in a society of consumers where everything is so readily available in this country. We really don't know what starving is. We don't know what hunger is because we have so much food available. We have everything at our fingertips. We live in the land of opportunity, the land of abundance. This is an amazing country that we live in. And if, as Americans, we realize that if we stopped eating as much meat as we do, we could feed hungry people that are actually starving, that know hardship, that know what it is to be starving, what it is to be hungry, truly hungry, then we have a moral and ethical dilemma. Should we, as a nation, try to become more vegetarian, more vegan? Or should we keep on the path we're on because we can? That's the moral dilemma we have to choose and we have to face. Oh, and the fact that it would be more beneficial to our environment to pursue a vegetarian and a vegan diet. That would be another moral and ethical dilemma. And that's something to think about. So post your comments below. What do you think? Do you think as Americans we should create a mass effort, a push for vegetarianism, or do you think we should continue on the trail we're on? And tell me your stories. If you were a vegan, post below. If you were a vegetarian, post below. If you eat meat 3 meals a day, post below and tell me how you feel, what you think about that. Awesome. So again, this is Eco News. My name is Grant McComb. Like this video, share this video, and tell your friends about my channel. That would be fantastic. Together, we're gonna save this world. Together, we're gonna make the world a better place. Awesome. So I'll see you in my next video. Have a fantastic time in between.